Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Now looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Hello, everybody. It's nice to see so many of you in the comments already. Welcome to my live section of the video for the Card Maker Success Summit. My name is Sarah Edwards and my website is craftwithsarah.com. I am a cricket blogger and SVG designer, and I mostly do paper craft projects and layered SVGs and greetings cards. So I hope you've had a chance to have a little look at my presentation for the summit, which is this cricket card here, little happy birthday card. So in my video, I show you how to make that, and it also comes with a matching envelope you can make on your cricket as well. But if you don't have a cricket machine, then I've also included a printable version in there that you can print on maybe photo paper or something like that and cut it out with a pair of scissors. So even if you don't have a cricket machine or a cutting machine, you can still make the card. So there we go. That was a quick introduction. So I'm going to have a little look through at your questions. Okay, so Caroline says, what weight of cardstock was the envelope? It looked heavier than the card base. So yeah, the envelope that I chose, it actually is a little bit thicker than I normally would do an envelope with, but I really liked that the pattern sort of matched the card. So what I actually used is scrapbook paper. It's from a pack which looks kind of like this, so it's actually a different one, but this is from The Works in the UK. It's 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, and it is 230 GSM. I'm not sure what the equivalent of that is in pounds in the USA, because you measure your cardstock in pounds and we do GSM, so it's all very confusing. But yeah, this is more like cardstock than paper, but it still worked. The card went in, it's nice and sturdy. It just means it's a bit heavier to post than if you'd used lightweight paper. But I think generally, just as long as it's strong enough that your card's going to go in it and it's not going to rip with all of the little sort of sticky out bits on the card, then you should be absolutely fine with whatever you choose. Just don't pick really thick cardstock, otherwise you'll have trouble folding it. But yeah, whatever you've got should work just fine. Anne says, suggestion for simplifying the assembly of layered cards when working with groups of varied experience levels. So it kind of depends a little bit on the design. For this card, you could simplify it by leaving off the detailed layers on the balloons. If you didn't cut those ones and just had the solid layers underneath, it would be much quicker to cut. And also you wouldn't have anything fiddly to stick together. And again, for the happy birthday, you could maybe leave off the purple layer and just do the yellow. That would just simplify the layers a little bit. But yeah, it depends on the design. Most of them should have little bits you can leave off without kind of ruining the overall effect. So yeah, if you enjoyed the birthday balloons card, then I do have some other ones for you as well, which are free. You can get those over on my website, which is craftwithsarah.com. The link to get them will be on the presentation page, or you can click the little link in the video. And those ones, it's a set of 4. So we've got Just For You with some little flowers, and opens up from the bottom. I'm not very good at showing stuff and keeping it in shot, so hopefully you can see it all right. It's a happy birthday, I love you, and a thank you. So they look really nice all together because they all match with all of the flowers, and you can use that same envelope template. They're the same sized card. So those ones are all available on my website. And of course, you can change the colors up if you wanted to do them all the same as a gift, or whatever you want to do with them. Dava, sorry, I hope I'm saying that right, says, did you have to cut the flaps on the envelope rather than weld them together? So yes, because you're limited on the Cricut to only 11.5 inches on the cutting mat, that's why the envelope part comes in sections. So we cut all the flaps separately as 4 separate pieces, and then the middle rectangle is cut on its own. It just has some little sticky out bits that you can then stick the flaps to. It's just to make sure that it fits on the cutting mat. If you watched my presentation video, it shows how to format all the score lines on the middle rectangle piece so that they will score. And I also say, you know, if you don't have a scoring tool, that's fine. You can just delete those lines from the design, and then it should all work. Facebook user says, your craft room looks nice. Do you have a tour video? I don't have a tour video. This is my studio. So Craft with Sarah is my full-time business. I've got several members of staff. So we all work together in this room. I'm on sort of a pod of 6 desks, which you can't see. And then we've got all the supplies behind us. I never really thought about doing a tour. The background behind me is pretty. The rest of it is a little bit of a disorganized mess. So I think I definitely need to have a little bit of a tidy up first. Judy says, do you have the font name in the file? I don't have the font name, but I can look it up after this live and let you know. If you maybe post a comment, post a post in the Facebook group for the summit and tag me in it, so Sarah Edwards, so that I definitely see it, I'll check what font I used when I made the design and let you know what it is. So I can't remember. Okay. Carlos says, I love that you included a PDF for those who do not have Crickets, but I don't understand how to access it. I watched the video. All right, so if you watch the video on the Summit page, if you scroll down the page underneath the video, there'll be a button there which says something like download the SVG or download the file or download the project. So I'm not sure exactly what it says. I don't have it open in front of me. But when you download that, it comes with all of the files inside it. And if you watch the presentation video, that shows you which ones you need to use if you're using the hand cutting file. Yorkies in Space, what an amazing name, says, how do you organize your digital files? And you brought a Popsy dress because I recommended them last time. I love my Popsy dresses. I have so many of them. This one is my latest one, which has got owls. You probably can't see with the microphone very well. And I got an Easter one as well. I love Popsy dresses. But yeah, so the question, I got distracted then. I'm pretty sure the question was, how do I organize my SVG files? I have them all by kind of season or holiday. So I've got a folder for Easter, Christmas, and Patrick's Day. Or if it's a theme, I've got like a dogs folder, cats folder. And then within there, I've got folders for all of the designs within there. So I'm probably a little bit different because I don't tend to use other people's files. I just use kind of my own designed ones. What I like to do when I'm making files, though, is to add Craft with Sarah in the file name, because I've heard from other people that when they're organizing it, it's helpful to know just by looking at the file name who the designer is in case they need to go back and have a look at anything on the website. So that might be a way to do it. Maybe within sort of Christmas, you could have Craft with Sarah and then all your other places you get designs. There are lots of ways to do it. Anne says, how long have you been designing SVGs? So I think 3 years, maybe. I got my Cricut, my first Cricut for Christmas. My dad got it for me, and Christmas 2019, I'm pretty sure it was. And I am a web designer and graphic designer by trade. So as soon as I got a Cricut, it was kind of the first thing I did. I just sort of jumped in and started designing my own things. I was already designing printables for card making. So it was kind of, I guess, the next natural step. But yeah, it took a lot of trial and error, but got there in the end. Lynn says, what is Popsy? So Popsy is a clothing brand in the UK. I think it's popsyclothing.com or .co.uk, not sure. But they make dresses with patterns on, and they're all sort of made in the UK, and I wear them in all my videos. So you see me, if you look at my YouTube channel, in lots of different dresses, and they're all from Popsy Clothing. So yeah, I get that comment a lot about where I get them from. Sue says, Sarah, if we wanted to resize the card you showed, can it be done as an A2? Yeah, I think you could resize it. The problem is that, so I've done it as 7x5. So you could definitely make it smaller just by dragging the corners, make sure your padlock icon is close so that it resizes in proportion. I don't think if you did it that way, it would go to exactly A2 size because they're not in proportion with each other. So if you did want exactly A2, you'd need to tick the padlock icon above the width and the height boxes in Design Space, and then type in the exact width and height you want. You might find that it squishes it a little bit, so it might not look right. So I think just give it a try in Design Space and just see how it looks on the screen. And if you're happy with how it looks on the screen, then it should be absolutely fine when you cut it out. Elisa says, I tried downloading the SVG after watching the video and it didn't download. What should I do? I'm sorry it didn't download for you. What you could do is send me an email, sarah@craftwithsarah.com, and then I can try emailing it to you instead, and hopefully that will work. If not, maybe just try clicking the button again. Maybe there was just a little internet glitch or something. If you're on a phone and you're trying to download it, or a tablet, and you click the download button and it says something like you have no internet connection, that's a little problem with just how phones download things if you're looking at it through a Facebook browser or something. So if you see that message on a phone, no internet, click the 3 little dots on your screen, on your phone screen, and then press, if it's an iPhone, press open in Safari or whatever Android is. I don't know. I've never had an Android phone. And then that will open the page directly in a browser, and then it should download. But say if that doesn't work, drop me an email or post a comment in the Facebook group and get in touch with me, and we'll make sure you get it. Erin says, do you like the Cricut more than other machines and why? So I've never used another type of cutting machine, so I can't say if it's better or not. The reason that I chose a Cricut machine over, say, a Silhouette or a Scan and Cut was because I just think they're more well-known, especially here in the UK. I see lots of Cricut stuff in the shops. I don't really ever see any other type of cutting machine. So as I said, my first Cricut machine was a gift from my dad, and I think he was just fed up of me talking about it for so long that he got me one. But yeah, so I've got the Cricut Maker and also a Maker 3 and a Joy now. The Maker, the original Maker, is my favorite. I think it cuts nicer than the Maker 3, even though it's the older model. I find it doesn't mess up as much, and it cuts cardstock better. I don't know if that's just because I'm more familiar with it because I've been using it longer, but my Cricut Maker is definitely my favorite. Yorkies in Space says, what software do you use to draw your SVGs? So I use Photoshop to do the original illustration and then convert that to an SVG in Inkscape, which is a free vector-based software. So Photoshop by itself, you can't do SVGs in that. It's not a vector-based software. And vector basically means when you draw a picture, you can make it as big as a bus or as small as like this, and it doesn't lose any quality. You can't do that in Photoshop, which is why I then need to bring it into Inkscape to convert it. So it's a bit of a longer process, but I've tried drawing in Inkscape and I just can't get my head around it. I've been using Photoshop for like 15 years, so I'm going to stick with what I know. Okay. Tina, what new designs can we expect to see coming out? Well, that is a question. So the next big thing that we're doing at Craft with Sarah is our Easter craft countdown. So it's going to be 10 days of free Easter themed craft projects. It's running from the 4th to the 13th of March. If you would like to join that, it is completely free. You can get tickets at craftwithsarah.com/Easter. So yeah, very much working on Easter at the moment. And then after that, we've got a big SVG launch coming up in April, which will be, we've got lots of gnomes coming out. Gnomes that always seem to be popular. We've got more dogs to add to the 235 dog breeds we've already done. That's not enough, so there'll be more. And also some mandalas, some animal heads, lots of things, some birds coming out. Yeah, we're working on a lot at the minute. So yeah, it's exciting, busy, but exciting. So Brandy says, how did you get started in crafting? Ooh, that was a very, very long time ago, when I was young. I've always sort of liked arts and crafts, even as a child. And my mum always encouraged me to do handmade cards for, you know, family Christmases and birthdays and thank you cards and things. So I always made cards, always doing that. But where I sort of started getting into like the blogging and crafting side was I was looking for new craft ideas and came across iris folding, which I actually did in the Card Maker Success Summit last July. And it's where you cut out a shape from cardstock and then you stick strips of paper over it to make a kind of spiral design. And I found a forum that was back way before Facebook, so when we were still on forums, where people were making designs and sharing them. So I started designing iris folding patterns, and that was my very first adventure into sort of sharing things online. That was a long time ago. That was probably about 10 years ago, maybe more. Actually, I think it was 2009. So however long ago that was, I don't know. Julia says, can you resize more of your files to cut on the joy or do a series for the joy? I also have a maker, but have to bring it out every time I want to use it and try to set up a lot of projects to do at once. Yeah, that's a really good question. So with a lot of my layered designs, they tend to have kind of detailed layers. I don't think I've got any near me to show. But things like the balloons, if something's got like a solid layer underneath and then something really intricate on top, a lot of my designs I put flowers on as like a top layer. You can leave those layers off if you're making it smaller to cut on a joy, and then it will cut much easier if you're not doing the really, really detailed layers. I also have a series of videos online called SVG School, which is all about customizing SVGs so that you can use them for different purposes. They're all free videos. It's craftwithsarah.com/school. And one of those is on how you can modify my animal design so that you take off the body, you chop off his head so that you can just cut the head. And they work beautifully on the joy because then you can cut them so it fills your whole of your joy size and you just get this really cute little animal face. So have a look at that one if you haven't seen it. You do a Christmas countdown as well? I do. Yeah, that's where it, no, the first one I did was a Halloween one. So yeah, we do Halloween and Christmas every year, which I've done for 3 or 4 years. This is the first year doing an Easter one as well. So hopefully you'll enjoy that one. This one is 10 days for Easter. My Halloween and Christmas ones I run for 20 days. So yeah, look out for them later in the year. Your keys and spaces, are your designs only for card making or also for other types of crafts? So I do paper craft designs, but they don't have to be used on cards. You could put them in a shadow box or just prop them up on the wall. I've got a few things in the background. You see the heart design in the frame. That's that side. And also the spring letters that you can kind of see behind me. But yeah, so I do kind of a lot of paper craft designs, which would work either just sort of hung up or put in a frame. There are lots of different ways you can use them. So I've got a few here. These are all free ones on my website for Easter and St. Patrick's Day coming up. So it depends a bit on how big you cut it. They could be cut small enough to go on a card or make them bigger to go in a frame. I've also seen people put magnets on the back of them and put them on a fridge, which is nice. Or you can add them to layers if it's going to go in a frame so that it fills the space a little bit better. So yeah, there's lots of different things you can do with them. Ardith says, can you tell us or show us your big scenes, the ones that are 12 to 24 inches long? They're amazing. Thank you very much. They are one of my favorite things to do. So yeah, with what I've been playing with for a while now is making giant kind of wall art signs. I've got one here, which is actually the biggest one I've done, I think. I'm going to have to move back. So this one, I think it's 28.5 inches. So it's huge. It comes in sections. If I just turn it around, so hopefully you can see the back bit is all done in sections that you cut separately. So it still fits on a regular cutting mat, but then you stick the bits together to make something really big. That Easter one is a free one as well on my website. So I think the free ones, there's an Easter one, there's a Christmas one, there's a Halloween one. There might be more free ones, I can't remember. But I've definitely done some other ones which are in my shop for all the different seasons and different holidays. And yeah, they're really, really fun to make. And if you want an Easter one, well, there's that countdown I mentioned. Not that I'm giving clues about the projects or anything like that. Barbara says, I would love to see a Papillon dog SVG. I do have a Papillon dog. What I will do is if you message me, actually, if you email me, sarah@craftwithsarah.com, I will send you the link to it so you can have a little look. Yeah, I've done 235 different dog breeds, so quite a lot. Yeah, Papillon is one. The cabinets you can see behind me, the little thin drawers in between the shelves, that's full of dogs I've cut out. So yeah, there's a lot. Creative Treasure says, what is your favorite brand of solid color cardstock, and do you always use a patterned paper for your cards? So I am in the UK. My favorite brand is Sizzix Surfaces. It's got like a light texture on it, which is really, really pretty, like a linen effect. It cuts beautifully on the Cricut. I also really like, what are they called? I think I've got an old pack next to me. So Tonic Studios do this called Classic Card. I get a lot of that, so it all comes in individual colors, which is nice. I've got a little pile of empties next to me that I need to reorder. Again, that's got the linen effect and it's solid core, so the color goes all the way through, and that cuts really nicely too. Also Hunky Dory Crafts, they have very similar card as well. All of those are my go-to. Yeah. Josie says, I love your whimsical designs like the Christmas pull-out chimney. Do you have any 3D pop-up or pop-out cards or plans to make any? Yes, so there are a couple on my website in my free section. There is a gnome-themed pop-out card, which uses the print and cut feature on the Cricut to make. There are a couple of other ones in my shop, I believe, from previous Halloween and Christmas countdowns. It's not something that we've got planned imminently to do more, but it is on the big list of ideas we've got going on. It's just designing 3D stuff's really, really hard. I don't have the brain for it myself, but one of my designers, she is very good at 3D things. So yeah, it's on the list to give it a try. So bear with us on that one. Erin says, what is your go-to glue? So in the UK, we can't get like Barely Art glue or art glitter glue, or at least it's not very easy to get hold of. I use Kalal. I get it on Amazon, and then I put it into these needle tip applicator bottles. They've got a really thin nozzle on them, which makes it really easy to get the glue out. One thing to note is it is a solvent glue, so it does have a little bit of a smell to it, but it's not that strong. But it's really, really good. What I love about it is you can put as much as you want to on a bit of cardstock and it doesn't bend or warp or wrinkle it like some glues can do. And that's why I really like it. Just it doesn't give you that horrible wrinkling. Okay. Do you usually cut your larger designs on the 12 by 12 mats, or do you use the 12 by 24 size? And that was from Virginia. I only use the 12 by 12 mats because that's what I have. So all of my giant designs, they have been specifically designed so that you can use A4 paper in the UK, you can use US letter paper or 12 by 12 paper or cardstock. So they can all be cut on a regular size cutting mat from just your regular everyday cardstock. You don't need to buy super big card or mats or anything like that. Lynn says, do you have any big designs for wedding? I'm afraid we don't, but that's an excellent idea. So I'll put our little thinking caps on and add it to the list. Tina says, so I'm assuming you have a min pin and a chihuahua. Would love that. We do, yes, there is a min pin, and I think there's 4 different chihuahuas. There's a long-haired chihuahua, a short-haired chihuahua, a deer-head chihuahua, and an apple-head chihuahua. So yeah, lots of chihuahuas. They're all available in my SVG shop, which is shop.craftwithsarah.com. Or if you click the link to my website that's in the little scrolly bar, then in the navigation, it says shop at the top. If you click that, it will take you to my shop. And then in the navigation on the shop, it's a little bit complicated. It says dogs or dog breeds or something like that. And you can have a little look at them all in there. Yorkies in Space says, how do you store your colored cardstock? It's all on the shelf. Nope, that way. Yeah, all that shelf is what we have. I like it out because we use it every day. So putting it in like drawers didn't work. I was a little bit worried about sun damage from having it out, but because we've only got teeny tiny windows in here, it's not been a problem. And I just love that we can see everything. It's all in color order, and then we go from dark to light. And it's really good. You can see really easily if you're running out of something, especially because we've got different people using it. So sometimes you're not always on top of what's left. But yeah, that works really well. And then all of the scraps of card, I do have those in folders. So I've got some A4, slightly bigger than A4 Ziploc folders. And then that's all separated by color. And then they are in, like IKEA Kallax cubes with drawers in them. So that's, yeah, all our scraps are in there. Do you have a dog or only paper dogs? I have 2 Shih Tzus. They are called Freddie and Socks. Yes, they are very lovely and they like to wake me up very early. So yeah, I've been up since 5:15 this morning because one of my dogs decided that was wake up time. But yeah, I love dogs. I've always wanted dogs, love dogs, worked in dog rescue, just yeah, dog crazy. That's kind of why started doing all the different dogs, because I wanted to make a frame for my mum with cardstock versions of her dogs. So that was the very, very first one, which was Boston Terriers, and it all came from there. So yeah, definitely a dog person, not a cat person. All right, so I think I need to wrap up now. I could actually talk all day, but I'm getting a little nudge that I need to stop. So thank you so much for watching along with me. I hope that the questions and answers have been helpful. I will be in the Facebook group, so if you've got any more questions, leave me a comment in there and try and tag me if you can, just to make sure I see it. But it was really nice to chat with you all. I hope you're enjoying the summit. There's still loads of amazing projects coming up. So don't forget, if you want to get any of my designs, head to craftwithsarah.com. There's over 50 free layered SVGs on there and greetings cards and all sorts of paper crafts. Yeah, have a lovely rest of the weekend and enjoy the rest of the summit. All right, thank you. Bye.